Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here at Earth and Sky, and those of you joining us online. We always appreciate each and every single one of you. We've been enjoying your feedback lately, and we always love any comments. If you have had a favorite law of karma from this video series so far, I'd love to hear below what your favorite one has been. We'll be doing a little wrap-up once we get through all of the 12 laws, but I'd love to hear if there were certain things that resonated that you're remembering from some of the earlier laws of karma. This law tonight, the 10th law of karma, there's 12 in this series we're going to be talking about, but the 10th law of karma is all about change. It's the law of change and how history will continue to repeat itself until you learn from the experience and you take steps to change what has always happened and what will continue to happen until you change something inside yourself. It was interesting. I was just talking with my husband a bit about this today with some patterns in our own life and doing some deeper diving exploration of this and how it relates to us as well. This law has a lot of echoes of some of the earlier laws that we've talked about as well. The first law, the great law that is, as you sow, shall you reap. That's what a lot of times people think about with karma. They feel like it's what you put out there, it's going to happen to you again. If you put something bad out, bad's going to happen. If you put something good out, good's going to happen. As you've been discovering through this, there is so much more to the laws of karma and how they intricately work with everything that we do in life and how you can utilize these to propel yourself up to the next parts of living and creating the life that you want to live and designing it the way you want to. It's the same way that as we understand things about physics, we can apply things and really bring in greatness with our understanding of the universe and how we progress in our lives. Same thing with these. So this one has a little bit to do with that first law. It also mirrors some things with the law of attraction, where you attract to yourself not what you want, but what you are. And it also brings in a little bit of the law of humility too, that third law, where what you resist persists, because we're talking about change. And if you remember, the fourth law of karma was all about growth and the ability to see how to grow and how things change as you go along the way is really something that we're going to dive much more deeply with this. So as I mentioned, 10th law of karma, what history will do is always repeat itself until you've learned the lesson, until you change yourself, until you change your perspective, your mindset, you change what you expect to see. And there's a lot of different points of view on this. Some people feel like, well, if you expect to see a certain thing, then you're going to draw exactly that into your life. And others may argue that, well, you have a cocoon that's placed in you. We've talked at different times about your cocoon being that big button, that big lesson that you're here to learn, that before you ever came into this world, your soul chose on the other side that there were some things you wanted to learn, to grow, to experience while you're here in this human body. And the cocoon is that great challenge that once you're here in a body, you're going, why would I ever have wanted this? Why would I ever have asked for that? You've got to be crazy if you think I wanted this to be a theme in my life. Yet it's there for a reason, because you wanted to learn so that you could grow. And to do that, we need to change what we're doing. We need to change our mindset, our behaviors, our thoughts, our feelings, in a whole bunch of different ways to be able to pass that cocoon, to be able to stop feeling the press of the button every time people trigger that button or when certain instances happen. You know, our cocoon is something that our family installs those buttons. As one of our members here often says, our family is really good at installing those buttons and they know exactly how to press those buttons later on in life. Well, that is pretty much what your cocoon is. And then when other people press that button, sometimes you may go off the handle thinking, I had enough pressing of that button, and you might just want to cut somebody out of your life. Maybe you feel like, I don't need that person anymore. They pressed me one too many times, and so you say goodbye to that relationship. You're onward to the next thing, and you feel like, I changed that. I ran away. I'm setting boundaries. I'm leaving it behind. And then yet what you find is exactly what you run to is the exact same thing again. Have you had a relationship in your life where you feel like you keep getting the same type of relationship over and over. Or maybe you know somebody that keeps having the same type of relationship over and over and is not happy with it. And they find that no matter how much they try to change and how many people they let go of and run to the next one, they keep finding that same pattern over and over and over. And it can be so frustrating. Yet it's not about that other person, because this law, the law of change, shows us that we need to take steps to do something differently within ourselves, to stop the cycle. And this could be a relationship, not just a romantic relationship, but friendship. Sometimes people will find they keep finding the same friends that end up not really being true friends when it actually comes down to it. And they might find those exact same patterns that they thought this other friend said would never happen is exactly what that other person ended up doing at some point. So we need to take steps to stop the cycle. This law teaches us that if you want to change and you're ready to heal that cocoon, to move forward, to change into the next part of your life, you must start inside yourself, because it has nothing to do with the other person. It has nothing to do with however bad that person seemed to behave or however much that person seemed to change the longer you got to know them. It has to do with what's going on inside yourself and what you need to heal inside yourself and how you need to grow and to change. This law teaches us that if you want change, you must start inside yourself. If you are unhappy with something or someone or any situation in your life, only ending a relationship with them will not solve the problem. They will come back again with a different face and a different name, but the exact same issue, until you find out how to change within yourself, how to find the peace within yourself, how to find the faith within yourself, how to know whatever it is that needs to be healed is healed within yourself. And you're no longer running to the next and the next and the next. This also goes with any situation or pattern in your life. It is actually the universe nudging you to learn the lesson, to learn your cocoon every time it happens. It's this window, this beautiful opening that the universe is bringing in, saying, hey, remember that thing that when you were a little soul on the other side and you said, oh, I want to have this amazing experience on earth, and I want to learn these things, and I want to experience all the great senses that we don't have on the other side, and you feel like, I can do this challenge, I want to bring this growth into my soul. And then when you get here, it's really hard. And so the universe does these little nudgings to let us know, to bring these people into our life, to create these situations that happen so that we can recognize how to heal it. And again, as I mentioned, for some, they believe that if you just change your perspective on what it is you're attracting into yourself, if you shift your mindset, then maybe you'll stop attracting that same thing. Maybe you need to delve deeper through psychology or through deep introspection to figure out, why does this keep happening? Why does this bother me in the first place? Because pretty much guaranteed, a lot of those things that are triggers for you might not have that same triggering effect on other people. So it's not about what the incident is, it's about, why does this trigger you? So it can be that perspective shift, and it can also be just really learning how to shift, to heal, to reach out into the universe, to know that there are other ways of being. And as you start recognizing how even as these same things happen to you, even learning how to heal each time something comes in that does trigger you, learning how to find peace with it, learning how to recognize whatever it is that someone else did to you or some situation that didn't work out wasn't really even about you at all. It was about the other person. It had to do with them. It had to do with maybe the situation not being right for you, but finding out how to have peace with it when that trigger comes in is so deeply healing. And at that point, you might need to move on. It's not to say that you need to stay in that situation, but how to have peace with it so it's not triggering that deep button that's within your soul, so that you can learn how to move on. That's going to be so healing. It will lift your whole perception. It'll lift your perspective so that you can see more outside of yourself. It's about healing within so that you can see that all these other things outside of yourself don't have to actually trigger you. You can find the peace that's within yourself instead. Sometimes people will either think too much or feel too much. I think very commonly people will do one or the other. They're either in their head a lot and they're examining and thinking and trying to figure out, why did this happen? Why does this happen over and over? And they just kind of analyze it all day. And other people will feel so deeply. They will feel it night and day, and it will go deep into the heart, and they'll feel all the emotions. But it's about bringing both of those together, being able to bring together the aspect of thinking and feeling, and being able to, as you do that, you bring this wholeness into yourself. To change the pattern and the problem, we must be able to connect our thoughts and our feelings, and then proceed to make the changes that we need to make, to adjust according to each situation, to learn how to find a sense of peace, a sense of calm amidst the storm of whatever's going on, and to know that it is going to get better, and to see what you're going to learn from it in each and every single one of those situations. Learning how to do that, seeing that pattern, changing the pattern and the problem requires us to both think and feel in a state of balance, where we have clarity, where we bring in a sense of peace, where you know that whatever the situation is that's causing you to feel so off balance is not something that's going to last forever. And once you realize that, once you seize that sensation of knowing this chaos will not last forever, and I have the ability within myself to change it, and you start seeing, what do I need to change? How do I feel about this? What other steps can I take to change? And you start being able to move forward faster and faster and faster until you end up finally chasing your destiny and bringing your dreams into yourself, and you find yourself living those dreams. Your cocoon heals, you grow, you allow that change. Change can be really challenging sometimes, but sometimes what can actually be worse is if you stay in the same pattern and the same behavior with the same things happening over and over and over in different ways. So choose change, choose to take that risk, choose to find that balance within yourself, and run forward into whatever it is that you are wanting to bring into yourself. Remember, the outside world is just a mirror. We talked about that in one of the other laws, the law of mirrors. The outside world, every single thing that is going on in your life, every single thing that you see with other people, with situations, things that feel like they're done to you, as well as things that you feel like you're controlling, all of that is a reflection of what's going on in yourself. It's the law of mirrors. So often you can learn so much about a person based on what they talk about with other people, whether they're talking about good things with other people, or things that drive them crazy with other people, or judgment with other people. When you listen to the words of whatever it is that they're saying as a general in conversation, they're telling you all about themselves with every single word, and you too. So start listening to what your words are that you're saying. Start listening to how you talk about other people, and you're going to be able to get a really good glimpse in the mirror of yourself, and seeing who you are, and seeing what's going on within yourself, so that you can then change whatever you want to change within yourself. Remember, the outside world is just a mirror. To have change occur, it must begin within you, and as that change comes into you, you're going to be finding yourself seizing your destiny. Embodying each of these laws is going to bring such a sense of freedom into yourself, and I hope this gives you some great food for thought on the 10th law of karma. I look forward to seeing you again next week. I always love hearing each time you put that in the comments about what things you learned, what things you're going to implement. I'd love to have you put in the comments below one thing that you plan to do to change within yourself based on today's talk. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here at Earth and Sky Center.